The social conditions for working people were bad to horrible for most working people. People who worked in the factories, who worked in the mills, who worked on the waterways, the mill workers, the lumber shovers, the iron workers, women and men were paid terribly. It wasn't easy living being a worker. You would work intermittently. Most people that worked couldn't count on full-time employment all the time because so much was based on the boom-bust cycle of the economic conditions. You know, there were depressions, and then there were periods of boom, and then there were more recessions and depressions. People are thrown out of work. People work part-time. They're not needed on that particular day. If they voice a concern about conditions, they're fired, and if they have any interest in organizing a union, they're blacklisted. That was the way of the day, so to speak.
Remember, one of the most important aspects of the Civil War is it abolishes human slavery. And after the Civil War, we start getting terms like wage slave. So you no longer buy, you just rent workers. And so you rent the worker for however many hours the employer determines. And the day may be 10 hours, it may be 12 hours, 60 hours, 70, even 80-hour work weeks were not unheard of. And so this then becomes a notion of, hey, we're no better off than slaves. We're sort of rented as opposed to purchased outright.
Now, if you're removed from your family for 12 to 16 hours a day, and so you're removed from your community, really, you're put in a very bad position socially, but also financially, you're not making enough money to get by. The majority of workers are making 14.5 cents an hour. And because there are every morning outside the gates of these massive factories, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people looking for a job, the wages continue to go down. Mass production actually provides much benefit. But for the workers who are going through the change at this time period in the 19th century, they're seeing themselves losing control and they're losing status. The other thing about being an artisan is you can set yourself up eventually in your own business. And if you're a private business owner, you suddenly have status in the community, right? You are a shoemaker. You're the shoemaker everybody wants to come to. People say hello to you on the street. Suddenly you're working for the EZ Shoe Company and you're nobody. Your status has declined. So in the 19th century, workers are seeing their status decline, their income decline, and their power declining. I mean, look, it's artisans who largely make up the American Revolution in 1776 in cities like New York and Philadelphia and Boston. By 1876, those artisans are becoming something of the past. They're disappearing. And the new worker is here. And frankly, women and children are taking the place of grown men in many of these lines because an unskilled worker might as well be a woman who you can pay 30% less or a child who you can pay even less, and you can make more profit. So how do you regain control over the operation? How do you regain control over your own life? If you don't own the tools of production, how do you at least control the person who's using the tools, control yourself and your own destiny? You come together and you unionize. And when violence is used against you, you react violently as well.
Workers start to organize to demand their rights. And the rights include, shorter work time. The rights include a voice in the workplace, a voice over the conditions that are affecting them. And also, workers are organizing politically.